Hi everyone, so the purpose of this video is just to have a little talk about equipment basically for yoga and other exercise at home. Obviously not all of us have all of the things that I have on display here, but I'm going to have a little talk through the different options. So traditionally in yoga we talk about a block and a brick. So our block is a slightly larger one and slightly flatter. If you don't have one of those, that one can be easily replaced with a cushion or even two cushions if your cushions are a little bit flatter. So this one is often, well, most often used for sitting on to give you a little bit of extra height, so you can relax your knees a little bit more. And also you can pop it under your head, of course, when you come to your Shavasana, so you can use that for a bit of support, particularly if you get any discomfort in the back of the neck there. So that one is our block. Our brick we use if you want even more height, and also for pressing down on. So say we were in a posture where we were balancing maybe on the hand, we can often press down on a block to give us a little bit more support there. Classic replacement, we've got a wonderful book here. I'm not going to advertise it because I haven't read it, so I don't know if it's any good. But holding that nice and firmly, we can apply downward pressure on that book, particularly at the spine end, obviously. If you've got a hardback book, even better. Obviously, the thicker, the closer it will be to your block, and the sturdier it will be as well. You can, of course, use your book as a little prop to sit on as well. So 2-in-1 for that one. And yeah, make sure it's not, your grandma's old novel or something precious. Okay, so what else do we have? So we've got our block and our brick. We also often use a strap in yoga to assist us with our postures. So just going around my house in a couple of minutes, I've found plenty of replacements for this. So this is the strap that I have on my yoga mat, which is just a bit of cord basically. If you're a climber, you might have plenty of that hanging around, so that's another option. A belt, perfectly good replacement. Obviously, just be careful of the pointy end. Don't go waving that around near your eyes or anything. Really nice option is a scarf, particularly for any postures where you're using that for tension. So for example, our little cow face arms here, where we're using that between the hands, and we want it to be fairly strong. So make sure it's not one of those little wispy summer scarves. But a scarf can be a great replacement for that. In postures where we want a little bit of give, of course you could use a TheraBand. I've got part of a TheraBand here, but does the same job. So for example, if you were popping that on a foot to hold on to, that just gives you a little bit of give there as well, so you can start to pull in with those arms. So that's a nice option too. And again, for the climbers among us, we might have an odd bit of rope lying around, or even a rope that needs cutting. If you've got a rope that's looking a bit sorry in the end, you could donate a piece to become your new yoga strap. So that's a nice one. Obviously, just make sure it's fairly clean. You can always give it a little wash beforehand as well. So those are our various strap replacements. And in terms of a mat, obviously there's not really any fantastic replacement for a yoga mat. If you practice regularly, it might be worth just buying one. I can highly recommend Evergreen Yogi, who are based in Southampton, if you want to support a local business. And also Eco Yoga, who make another set of eco-friendly mats. If you don't happen to have one, practicing on carpet is an option, but you really want to make sure you're practicing something that's non-slip, particularly if you're starting to move through any flows for yoga. Another great option, if you've ever been to a trampoline park and you've been coerced into buying their socks, these will all have nice little non-slip sections on the bottom. So those can be a great option too, particularly if you're on a hard floor. They'll give you plenty of grip there. So you really want to make sure that you're not on anything like a blanket where you're going to be slipping and sliding around. If you've got a woven blanket or sort of a woven rug, those can be a good option too, particularly if you're putting them down on carpet. There's less slide in those, and they're much stiffer. So that's another option. The last one, of course, is anything with a non-stick surface on the bottom, like a bath mat. Most of us have one of those lying around. So even for your standing postures, it doesn't need to be that long. So if you've got a short bath mat, then that could work for you as well. Trying to make the most of what we do have. So our last item here, which is Nala's favourite, you can tell. Come on then, Nala, give me the blanket, is our blanket. So I'm sure we all have at least one of these rolling around somewhere, maybe at the end of the bed. So blanket is fantastic because it can sort of double up as many different tools. So we can use that blanket for sitting on, nice little prop and boost there. We can use it for support in postures where we're perhaps pressuring through hands and we want a little bit of extra height there. We can use it to give that bit of height. Make sure it's folded nicely and neatly, unlike my blanket here. And of course, if you get discomfort in knees when we're in some kind of low lunge, that blanket can give a bit of extra softness to the knee that you're pushing on. So just making sure you've got some kind of cushioning there if you're pressing down on the knees for any amount of time. And last of all, we can, of course, use our blanket in our lovely Shavasana. So just opening it up, it's a really nice way to end your practice, using it to keep a bit of warmth in the body once you've flowed through. And Nala thinks that's a good idea too.